Hi, my name is Paul. I'm with Perry PC Guy. I know it's been a while, but we're back now, and today we have a mail-in order for an A2442 M1 MacBook Pro. Problem with this one is it's not turning on. So, first things first, let's go ahead and get this plugged into power and see what it does. Doesn't look like it's negotiating 20 volts, but let's try the different charger just to be sure. That other one can be a little weird sometimes. I'm still not getting anything new. Let's try one more thing. If we switch these around, use the MagSafe. Let's see. No, we get nothing. Huh. Okay. So that confirms it. This MacBook definitely does not have any power. Let's go ahead and open it up and figure out why that is. These ones are actually a lot easier to open than the older ones. It's just 4 screws, 4 long at the top, 4 short at the bottom, or the other way around, depending on how you're looking at it. The long screws go where the hinges are, the short screws go where they aren't. That's kind of the easiest way to remember it. And then these, I still need to get the other fork. These actually pop up much more easily than the previous covers. I don't know if it's the clips are just weaker or what, but these are much nicer to open. Apple quoted this guy $700 for the repair. This is only $250. So let's get it running again. First part's just going to be figuring out what's actually wrong with it. So doing a quick visual inspection of the board, I'm not seeing any issues on the top side. Of course, there could be something on the bottom, but I do not know that yet. Let's go ahead and figure out what point would be best for probing PP bus. Okay, I found our probe spot. Looks like we have 2 fuses down in the left center, and you'll see in a second. Those are on PP bus. Now, for those who don't know what I'm referring to when I say PP bus, there are multiple different large wires slash planes in the actual motherboard called power rails. PP bus underscore Aon is the main power rail for the N series MacBooks. So we want to see between 12.4 and 13.3 volts on that. So this is just on battery power, and I'm getting absolutely nothing. Let's see if I get anything new when I plug it in. We are plugged into power, and I still get no voltage. Well, actually, I get 0.02 volts. If I unplug it, nothing at all. Okay, so there's probably a short. Let's see, do I get continuity? I do get continuity to ground, 2.4 ohms. Let's see what diode tells us. The diode is telling us we have a dead short to ground at 0.002 volts. Not looking good for this. Let's see what it says the other way around. Yes, the other way around is the exact same thing. That leads me to believe it might be a failed diode. Let's go ahead and pull this motherboard, or logic board as Apple calls it, out of the actual chassis, and we will find out. Now this will just come out. Can be a little bit tricky to get it started sometimes. These different cables will have plates on them, they block it. I just got to be gentle, maybe wiggle it a little bit, and it does come out. And then from here, you actually need to pull it from left to right because these ports, the HDMI port and whatnot, are kind of in the chassis. So you can't just lift it straight out, you do need to pull it. But now that that's out, put the palm rest to the side and just look at the board. So like I said, there is a short. We need to find it. Best way to do that is by injecting voltage into the board and using a thermal camera to look for where it gets hot. Now, I only have 2 hands, so I'm actually going to solder my probes on here. Let's go ahead and get that ready. For small soldering jobs on these Apple boards, 350 degrees Celsius on your iron is just fine. You can go a little higher. I wouldn't really recommend going lower though. I use the Stereo V2 Tacky Flux. There's other fluxes you can use, I just prefer this one. We'll go ahead and put some on my fuse there, and we'll put our red probe on it. Actually, I don't want to use these probes, I want to use a different set. Let me grab that. I'll be right back. Okay, we are back. I have my probes ready, and actually just so you can see the soldering a bit better, because this camera doesn't show it, we'll switch you over to my microscope. So let's go ahead and get that ready. We are going to be working right here on this little solder joint. So I will go ahead, heat it up, put some solder on the iron, and then get that solder on there. It would help if I was holding it better. There you go. Now the reason we add extra solder to the joint is because this is low temperature solder, so it will melt much better. Go ahead and add just a tiny bit more flux there. Grab our red wire, because remember, this is PP bus, so we want to actually send the voltage there. I'll just melt these together, like so. And then let's pick a ground point, like right here. Same as before. Add some flux, add some solder, put the wire on. There we go. Put our black on ground. There. Now that we have our leads on, we can go ahead and prepare for the next step. Go ahead and switch this back. Oh, these got hooked. Let me fix that. Our positive did come off, but that's fine. I could just solder it right back on. There. That's a better connection. Let me just check something really quick. Yep. Okay, that's good. So now what we can go ahead and do is turn on our power supply, get the thermal camera ready. This will take a second. There we go. Alright, so what are we working with here? Board looks normal right now. 1 volt, 1 amp. Let's go ahead and send some power into there. At 0.8 volts, we are drawing the full amp. Let's see where this is. Oh, is it over here with the SSDs? Oh, hang on. I see an issue. Let's get these out of the way. Smaller tweezers for this. There's some loose wire on top of here that I'm picking off in case you can't see it. Okay, so the power's off right now. Let's look where our hotspots are. Actually not seeing any. Let's go ahead and throw some power into here and let's find out. And turn the power on. Looks like we are getting hot right around here. But what's over there? Oh, that would do it. That's an obviously blown cap. I could have done a visual identification on that. Well, that there's our problem. Let's go ahead and pull that off and see if the short goes away. I'll switch to the microscope so you can actually see what I'm looking at, because it's a bit hard to tell from here. Let's do it like this. There we go. Get our hot air ready. Let's do 380. It's kind of the standard for these boards. I do actually want to raise this up a bit so I can have clearance for the hot air gun. There we go. Okay, let's pull that off. Okay, let's see if that short has magically disappeared now. I've never had that much trouble removing the capacitor in my life, though. Go ahead and clean that up. Like I said before, I am using a no clean flux, but it's still good to clean it if you can. Okay, grab our multimeter and see if we are still shorted to ground. Okay. We do not seem to be shorted anymore, but let's check diode just to be sure. I am getting 0.3 volts and going up, so that seems like a capacitor charging up. I'd say our short is probably gone. Now, give me a moment to source a replacement capacitor. I'll be right back. Okay, we are back. I have my capacitor sourced and ready. Let's go ahead and prepare the area. This is really simple. Throw in some flux, some low melt, clean it up, more flux, more low melt, and then put it on. For these, I will actually do 370 on the iron. It'll make life just a little bit easier. Let's throw some more flux on there. Okay. Add some more flux, and then we will desolder. One pad down. Got knocked around a little bit. Okay. Clean that up, put new flux on, new solder on, and then we'll be good to go. put a little too much on there. Yeah, I need to desolder that. I put too much on. It should actually be plenty of solder on both pads. Let's go ahead, add yet more flux. And we're going to solder this cap on by hand just because it's big enough to do so. Let's go ahead and flip that around so I can actually see it. There we go. Solid connection. Let's get this cleaned up. Give it a little alcohol bath to get the rest out. We'll go ahead and let that dry out while I check something. Okay. Use a little bit of heat to encourage the rest of this to dry out. Should be good. Now, like I said before, this is a no clean flux, so I don't have to be perfect with getting it up. You still want to do the best you can, though. Okay, just about done putting it back together. All I have left to do is plug the battery in, trackpad, and we are ready to test. Gloves did come off, by the way. It was getting a bit hard to work in them. Okay, everything's all connected. Let's go ahead and see what happens when we try to power it on. I do want to start with the meter so I can see if there's any abnormal activity. So let me go ahead and get that set up real quick. Let's test. We are still getting no response. Let's try the other charger. Oh, wait. Now let's see. We are working once again. Oh, I'll go ahead and I'll do some testing on this off camera, and if the video is ending here, then that means everything worked. Hope you enjoyed the video. This is technically my first video. It's actually my third, but it's been quite a while. If you have any recommendations in the comments for how I can make these videos better, by all means, please let me know.